one of our guests on, Jason Fry, talking about the Celtics are going to win their 19th championship. So what have you got to say about that?
Who this Jason Fry character is, he was talking about doing hard shit. Well, his prediction is bullshit. Okay. All right. The flu got me last week. Powered through
You
that.
don't look much better.
Yeah, well, on my bad days, I look a hell of a lot better than you.
Are you ready for the joke?
I was about to introduce the joke. You jumped the damn gun again.
I'm feeling Caribbean here in this.
You're feeling
Caribbean. That's the word I just made up.
What the
Caribbean. I'm feeling Caribbean.
Folks, we are the most entertaining thing on the world, in the world right now. I think you're trying to cover your own ass right now and just not
country
admit
you ninth in the country.
I think you're just trying to cover your ass right now and don't.
You know what? I got a big ass, so
that's a lot of
cover. A lot of cover. It take a blanket, damn it.
More like a drape.
Did you just pull a drape? Is that so I can open it up when I need to go? You know,
hey, you're getting too deep into this. Rivalries make sports great, but they got to be on the same level. And I'm sorry, Angel Reese ain't on the level of Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not Magic Bird. If you don't want to commit to it, take your ass and be a PE All-Star.
First off, you need to get your facts effing straight.
How do you like me now? How do you like me now? What? You're the coach. Shut up, dude. I won 5 Super Bowls, damn it. How dare you call the Cowboys a shit team? Watch the Cowboys. It'll be fun, they said. Bloody fucking hell, it was no fun. It was like riding a train around one of the Kardashians' asses, and you just disappear into this abyss of ass. Somehow he talked about buttholes that made me hungry for a PBJ sandwich. It's 35-7, and it's only 7 because you just scored. Shut up. Are you telling me coaches like Coach Popovich does plays in spaghetti noodles?
The thing about Coach Popovich is he actually liked to use popcorn with super glue.
Popcorn with super glue?
Yeah, he would put super glue little magnets on the bottom, and then he would arrange them on the board, and he would like color them different colors, and that would signify the opponents. And yeah.
Are those the players?
I don't want to give away any industry secrets on that particular thing, but yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta. Yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying no more.
And they're playing with sticks, and they're playing with a little puck all the time.
Expert analysis right there. They play with sticks and pucks. Talking about last names, Stankhoven. He put the stank on them. And that was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm going to look directly into the camera up here, which I hardly ever do. I want to apologize to y'all on behalf of my bloodline right now, because that was awful. Oh, my God. You're getting worse. All right.
Trying to grow the game, man. Global game.
These people, they don't give a damn.
Well, I don't really know, but it drives me nuts. You're almost going to laugh. I can see it. Almost fixing to lose it. It drives me nuts.
Oh, man.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
Woo! That's right, folks. Your ass better call somebody. Get him in here watching the most entertaining thing on the internet.
Ass actually call someone?
The Casey.
I don't.
The remix schedule. Would you let me finish the introduction, damn it, before you interrupt me already? Holy crap. It is.
Well, you said someone's ass better call somebody.
Shut up. I am Casey, the remix schedule. He is Eddie, the original schedule. And we're off to an amazing start, as you can see. I want to say I'm repping an amazing shirt right here. It's going to be the next golf shirt I wear to whoop your ass on the golf course. So just want to let you know that. It's all
You
golf.
realize how many times you've said ass in the opening here?
You know what? We're just, what do you reference?
Did you just watch an episode of the
asses.
Kardashians or something?
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
You're the one talking about Kardashian. It's like taking a trip around Kardashian's asses. All right, and PBJ.
No, that wasn't me. That was cousin George.
Well, yeah, well,
That wasn't me.
Closer related to cousin George than I am. So,
I didn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, interesting show today. Obviously, a lot of March Madness, or is it March Midness? All right. I don't know if there's a lot of madness going on this year. I got to be honest.
Midness.
Look.
That's like
You
my
weren't
word
part of the
Caribbean.
pre-production meeting when I came up with this, so just stop it.
Yeah, I'm not allowed in there anymore. Now they say I have to wear pants. So,
Wow.
Hey.
We'll put that curtain over you. So
it's gonna have to be a big curtain.
So a lot of tournament talk, women's bracket, men's bracket, absolutely things I was impressed with. Hopefully the old man actually watched a little bit of basketball. It's on almost every channel right now. So how could you miss it? Touch a little bit in the NFL, a little bit of the Cowboys. The old man's got some takes he wants to talk about in there. It's not just Micah. They got a lot more things on their plate than just Micah, I do believe. And then last week, I took a trip up to Dallas with my master's program, met with a lot of incredible people, met some good people, and I actually got to meet the man in charge of that Dallas Stars logo right there, Brad Albert. Yep. We got to spend about an hour or so with him. I'm going to tell you this. If you've never heard that man talk, it's incredible. Like, it's understandable how he got to his position, how he commands a room. And Brad, if you're listening right now, I will quit my job right now and go work for you. I don't care if it's scrubbing your toilets or bringing you whatever. I'll bring you coffee all day.
Whoa. I heard that. Scrubbing toilets. I'm making a note of that.
So, I'm just saying. I'm
You
not
like
brown
that
nosing.
girl in
The man is
that new Cruella movie when she thought she was going to be working in the front office and ended up cleaning to toilets. You could be Quesuela.
all right. You are not allowed to talk about March Midness after you just came up with
Midness. It's
Oh,
March
man.
Midness.
So, going to talk about my trip up there, get the old man's reactions onto some things, some incredible things happening in sports.
Look, your wife just sold you out. Said you said you scrubbed toilets. I guess you've never done it for her.
Okay, I have, but it's not like she's scrubbing them either. We don't clean them super.
All right. We ready to go to the joke before we get going?
Yes. Hit us with this terrible start of the show. Can only be concluded by the terrible joke by the old man. Go ahead, hit the people.
Well, I have to tell you I'm angry because the other day I bought a thesaurus, not like a dinosaur, but a thesaurus. Yeah. But when I got home and opened it, all the pages were blank. So I have no words to describe how angry I am. Don't lie.
Very an elaborate joke. It was really set up decently well. And the delivery of the punchline was lacking.
Okay, Midness.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
All right. Well, I believe your pick. We're gonna start with the men's brackets for NCAA. React to this first couple rounds. You picked Houston. Okay.
Yes, I did.
You picked Houston, went with the homer call, which honestly is a great pick. Houston's a great team. My pick is still alive. Duke, you did not fill out your bracket on ESPN's tournament challenge that we were supposed to do as a network. So I can't see what place you would have been in compared to everyone else. So
Somehow I didn't get that memo. It must have been on the group chat.
yes, it was on the group chat 2 weeks ago. So, anyways,
I was probably drunk.
that's a definite possibility. But I think, like most people, I had St. John's going to the Final Four. St. John's loses in the second round to Arkansas. And yeah, that kind of busted a lot of people's right there. But you got, I believe you had Houston playing Florida? Or did you have
No, Florida's not over there.
Florida?
No, Florida's playing Maryland. They're on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah. So if Houston goes to the championship and Florida is on the other side of the bracket, they would meet in the championship. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, that's who I picked. Yes, you are correct. Sorry, I thought you were talking about this round.
No.
Yeah, Houston, Florida is who I picked.
The reason I said March Midness, there weren't a lot of upsets. Like the trendy pick that I picked, UC San Diego, they didn't get the job done. McNeese State did win, but that wasn't a huge shocker. And for the most of the, like, my bracket on the bottom side is busted because of, I picked Memphis over Colorado State. I picked Missouri over Drake. But Drake is a basketball school. They have a history of doing that. So, not a lot of upsets. There haven't been a lot of small schools making a run like a George Mason or anything like that. So that's why I said it's midness. It's not. There's no madness going on really. It's predominantly a chalk bracket. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the lowest ranked seed basically is Arkansas, and they were 10th ranked. So, yeah, normally we see something in the Sweet 16 that's outside the top 10 ranking, but not this time. So, yeah, I didn't see Arkansas moving on myself either because I thought I had picked St. John's to be there against A&M, or not A&M, but Texas Tech. Speaking of A&M, I was very disappointed in their performance. Obviously, they beat Yale, but it wasn't an overwhelming victory. And, going into play Michigan, I had a feeling they just, unfortunately for A&M, they had a problem with playing games too close, and then when they start to make mistakes, it really gets elevated as far as not being able to come back, and that's exactly what happened to them with Michigan. Michigan took control of that game, and A&M just did not have the firepower to make a run to come back.
Yeah, I like you. I had A&M getting to the Sweet 16, playing against Auburn, eventually losing to Auburn. Also, Michigan barely beat UC San Diego by 3. I picked that upset, and most of the games that I didn't get right were pretty close games, other than Oregon Liberty. That was obviously a mistake on my end. But I was like, okay, Michigan barely beats UC San Diego. Texas A&M beats Yale by 9. Kind of feeling good going in that game. And then you're right. I also think there's some issues offensively for Buzz Williams. There's a lot of isolation basketball. There's not a ton of movement. And it's like, okay, let's chunk and go get it, try to hit the offensive glass type stuff. And I really think Buzz in this offseason, I think as great coaches do, you always evaluate where you're weak and where you're great. Try to make your greatness even greater and your weakness strengths. And I think he really needs to look at his offensive system. If he needs some help, I'm a basketball coach. Holler at me, Buzz. Just saying, holler at me. We both at Texas A&M right now. So, but yeah, Texas A&M haven't been to the Sweet 16 in a very, very long time. So maybe that should have been our clue.
Well, I think they have a chance to build on some things. They got some young players, so we'll see what happens.
If they stay,
But kind of go from there.
I mean, here's the thing. Like I said, if they stay, you got this transfer portal stuff is insane. We're not even finished with day one, and there's already 500 basketball players in the transfer portal.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
So
we've already talked about that. It's just messing with the game.
I mean,
big time.
Tournament's not even over, and there's 500 in. So that's just crazy. I saw the point guard or a guard for Navy transfer, and I didn't even think the Navy would allow that. Like, you sign a contract to go to school at the Naval Academy. Like,
yeah, that is strange to me.
So I saw that on Twitter today, and I was all like, really? I didn't think that was possible. Stick with the men's bracket here. A team that I was really, really impressed with was Colorado State. And I'm a little partial to them because we run the same type of offense where I'm at. I should have picked them over Memphis. I picked Memphis to actually get to the Sweet 16 against Florida because I was believing in what Penny Hardaway was doing there in Memphis. But, yeah, Colorado State, really impressive. They lose at the buzzer against Maryland. Yes, it was a travel. He traveled twice when he caught it. But I want to say this to the folks. I'm glad they let the players decide it and not the referee. You remember we had the legal screen in the Iowa game last year and all the controversy that called. How can you call that? How can you not? And now I'm seeing people like, how could you not enforce traveling? You know, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, hey, you can't have it both ways, guys.
So, in your opinion, did he travel?
He traveled twice. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and just so, because in case anybody's wondering, the first 2 years at the academy, yes, they can transfer. After that is when it gets complicated and they can face significant financial penalties because of their service obligation.
Gotcha. Well, that clears that up. But yeah, you mentioned, is it a travel? Is it not a travel? Yes, it's a travel. Twice. He caught it up top. He established his pivot foot as his left foot. He turned. When he pivoted, he picked up his pivot foot before the ball hit the ground. That is a travel. Then he picks the ball up on his right foot. There is no gather step in college basketball. For you morons on Twitter trying to go at me when I said he traveled twice, saying, oh, why y'all trying to act like experts? Dudes, I've been around this. I've been coaching for 16 years. I know what a travel is. There's no gather step in college basketball. So he gathers on his right and he takes 2 more steps. That's a travel. But as I said, I'm glad they didn't call it because it gave us a great moment in the tournament and let the players ultimately decide the game unless it's really blatantly obvious. That's where the distinction goes. So that's my opinion on that Maryland shot.
Yeah, for me, you need to call the game as you see it. We've talked about this with referees, but to me, traveling is obviously out of hand in the NBA. I don't even know why they dribble anymore. They should just carry the ball down the court and just do something, juggle a couple basketballs or something, because they don't call it. But yeah, to me, they need to call what's happening because I get what you're saying, but if you're on the other end of that, you know it's a blatant missed call, and you know this as a coach. It's a blatant missed call that costs you a game, or costs you critical points at a critical time in the game. then it becomes more of an issue, and it becomes an issue that, quite frankly, can decide the game. So I get the let them play, but when it's obvious, at least to the casual observer, then it needs to be called. I'm not. I'm not. I know a lot of people say let them play the game. Well, ticky tacky crap, yes, but when there's person taking 3, 4 steps, not dribbling the ball, all that, that's a pretty easy call to make. And
Well, you said me
you
as a
know,
coach. Yeah, if I was Colorado State, I'd be screaming a high heaven. Like that's BS in my opinion. Blah 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 blah. But you know, my head coach where I work at made this point, and it was a good point. So I'm gonna give credit to Mitch Hornsby on this one. He made the point is, are the rules being enforced less because of how much money is on these games and how much money is in college basketball?
absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
with the more, if you look at it, the more money the NBA has made, the less they enforce the rules. Now we're paying players in college basketball, and ultimately they're becoming professional athletes. They're not amateurs anymore. They're young professional athletes now. I wonder if we're going to see a trend of this and a rewrite of the rules to see if they go back and allow the gather step in college basketball.
Absolutely. I mean, the problem, it's like I've just talked about before, when we've talked about the gambling and all the stuff that is now on the forefront. It used to be kind of in the shadows. It's there, but it's not ruling the game, and it's kind of something that you want to shy away from. But now it's right in your face, of gamble. You get a parlay on these games, on these players, all this stuff. So absolutely, it is messing with the product on the field. We've said that. If you go back to what the NFL was in the 70s, 80s, and even the 90s compared to the NFL now today, because of the money that's in there, the quarterbacks, the Staubachs, the Bradshaws, the Elways, the Marinos, they used to get the shit knocked out of them and stay in that game. Even you could hit the quarterback, because to me it wasn't as much of an investment, and the gambling did not have such an impact on the game. But now you have fantasy sports, which is money involved in fantasy sports, which is individual players. You have college, but college now is basically a pro sport, because everybody can go where they want. They get paid now, which you can't argue that people shouldn't get paid. If my name is used for something for someone else's gain, I should get a cut of that. I don't have an argument with that. But once you open up those floodgates and you pour in gambling, you pour in all this other stuff, then absolutely it affects the game, the end game. And it's what we see in the NBA, and the complaints we have about the NFL. I mean, because do we have a Pro Bowl anymore? The Pro Bowl back in my day was a makeup game for the team that lost the Super Bowl, because the quarterback that it was usually the same quarterbacks. They got a chance to go against them. Staubach got to play Bradshaw in the Pro Bowl and had a chance to redeem himself because everybody played the game. Now it's flag football.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Flag football.
I think the correlation you're making is, and I've seen some other professional athletes that have retired make this point, is they're making too much money, and it becomes a conflict of interest. When it comes to the Pro Bowl, it is flag football. We all know the NBA All-Star Game is an effing joke. It's not even. It used to be the best pickup basketball game in the world, and when Kobe retired, all these dudes the tone set by LeBron James, by the way. They just went and said, "Oh, it's not worth my time. We're just going to have fun." We're not even going. It used to be like, "Oh, let's have fun the first three quarters, 3.5 quarters, and then we're gonna ramp that shit up, and we're gonna be balling." They don't even do that anymore. They just pull up from the logo and shoot stupid shots. So it's a terrible product. So when you start throwing all this money and into college athletes and the outcome of games, and the NCAA needs to stop being reactionary, and they need to get a governing body where they can cap this stuff. Because I'm going to talk about my trip a little later, but something that Brad Albert said was there's been no, in any point in time in history, in the world of sports, no matter whether you're college or pro, and it's going to filter down to high school, there's never been more pressure to find funding and sources of revenue, because that, whatever, let's take Marcel Reese. Is it Reese or Reed, the quarterback for A&M? Is it Reed?
Reed.
Yeah, Reed. So let's say you pay Reed $2 million. Well, the next quarterback is going to want more than that. And then Texas is going to offer him that, or Alabama is going to offer him $3 million instead of $2 million. And now I got to pay, an extra $1 million just to get a good quarterback. And, eventually it starts compounding. And like, you can't keep going to your same donors and asking for more money with not returning anything. So finding these streams of revenue is very pressure filled and very taxing on those organizations, because at some point it's got to pop. And in amateur athletics, it's got to be capped.
Another thing to me that it hurts the ticket prices for college games. College games should be affordable, so not just the students. I get it. Students get it. Discounts, and some students can get in free, all that stuff based on what they do for the school. But for the people who are alumni of school, former students of school, as we call ourselves at A&M, it starts to filter into those ticket prices where you can't. I mean, I think the average ticket price for the OU and A&M game this year was $800 something for the terrible seats. It was way up there.
The A&M Texas game was more than that.
That's what I was talking about.
You said OU.
Oh, but Texas. I meant Texas A&M game.
Okay.
And same thing for the Texas OU game. It's the same thing. It's going to get to where the average person can't go to the games like they used to. You got to mortgage or get a second mortgage if you're going to get tickets for the year, season tickets. And that's where it's all going to filter into. It's going to filter into that. And then, it's getting to the point of we're going to see $1 billion contract here soon. Probably in baseball.
Yeah, probably in baseball. We kind of took a side rail there. Is at the end of the day, there's got to be a stopping point to the money, and to how much we're paying. Because at some point, you're going to sit here and you're going to start paying, an NFL quarterback $100 million a year, stuff like that. I mean, honestly, we're getting there quicker than we ever thought we would. But at the end of the day, when it comes to college athletics, and I'm just interested to see as the money rises, will we see games officiated different? I think that's a real interesting thing to keep your eye on. I'm going to switch to the women's bracket now. I got to be honest. And I'm not saying I was super impressed by this team because they're my pick to get to the final against UConn. But TCU, man, Haley Van Lith, she's a different breed. And she plays the whole game plays at a extremely fast pace on offense and defense. And man, she is something different. I don't know how LSU let her go or didn't. I don't know what happened with her at LSU. Not sure why she left Louisville, but I'm glad she is in the team that I used to cheer for in TCU, because that's kind of my second school. I grew up in Fort Worth for the most part. So, but I'm really impressed with the TCU team as well. You got the 6'7" Prince center. Her last name is Prince. She's a beast down low, and I really think they have the pieces to make that run and upset South Carolina in the Final Four to meet UConn, where I ultimately have UConn winning. But another reason for the March Madness, or March Midness, I should say, not a lot of madness at all on the girls' side, at all. I mean, every upset I did pick didn't happen. I mean, I picked Grand Canyon over Baylor. Mainly that's just because I wanted to see Molly Miller a little more, who did take over the head coaching job at Arizona State. And I didn't pick that one. I picked Vanderbilt to beat Oregon, but Oregon beat the 7th seed by 4. So, I only got one wrong in each of the 4 areas in the round of 64. I thought Nebraska was going to upset Louisville, but I'll tell you, that girl Curry, I don't know if you watched the TCU Louisville game, but Curry had over 40 points in that game against TCU. She was just letting them fly. Looked like Steph Curry out there. No relation. So, any of the girls' games or any of the girls' brackets stand out to you at all?
Well, I think the one you just mentioned is pretty exciting. I was just watching North Carolina. Actually, I'm still watching it. North Carolina, West Virginia. 138 left third quarter. It's 40-35. West Virginia's giving them a game. But it looks like North Carolina's pulling ahead a little bit. But TCU, not a surprise to me, but I do think they're pretty exciting to watch. As much as I hate to say it too, Texas is pretty exciting to watch. The more I watched some of these, what I couldn't get, I'll tell you what kind of caught my eye. It's just the number of turnovers I saw in the games I saw compared to the men's game.
Did you watch the Tennessee Ohio State game?
Which one?
The Tennessee Ohio State women's game.
I watched part of it, not the whole thing.
God. That was just up and down, turnover, jack of 3. I mean, it was like, who's going to hit more shots out of this? But they were just at a frenetic play. But Ohio State ended up getting blown out. I picked Ohio State to win that game, but it was just turnover city in that game, as well as just wide open, trapping, pressing. I mean, honestly, it looked like an inner city basketball game. It's really what it looked like.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I saw really in the women's game is the number of turnovers was way up there. And now I've got, right now I got North Carolina, West Virginia, and got UConn against South Dakota State. UConn's barely winning, but it's early in the second quarter. It's 21-18. So,
and Kansas State upsets Kentucky. If you want to say a 5 beating a 4 is an upset by 1 point, that was a close game. I had Kentucky winning that one against Kansas State, but for the most part, they've been entertaining. It's been an entertaining women's and men's bracket, but not a lot of upsets in really either brackets. There have been some definite blowouts in both brackets, but it's been really fun to watch, and I think the product overall has been solid. Unless you've been watching, Tennessee beat South Florida 101-66. Ouch. So kind of wraps up. If there's any significant changes on those live games, we'll get it to you. But you said the Giants got a new quarterback?
Yeah, they did.
Well, who did the
Interesting.
Giants swindle now?
That would be Jameis Winston.
Oh, Jameis
So,
Turnover Winston.
so we're going to have to see. Winston actually didn't play that bad last year.
He turned the
So,
ball over a lot, though.
I guess the question is he an upgrade over what they had in Jones?
No.
No.
No. Look,
So,
I may be the outlier on Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones can be a franchise quarterback. If he can be surrounded like a Kirk Cousins was, he can be your starting quarterback as a franchise guy. I do. He's got the arm talent, he's got the athleticism, and but he was never surrounded with anything at the Giants. They had Saquon, and then they had no wide receivers. Then they let Saquon go, and they draft Malik Neighbors, and he had one wide receiver. Also, he never had an offensive line to protect him. He's getting hit all the time. So I think he has the talent. I just think just like Sam Darnold was a bust in New York and Carolina, I think Daniel Jones is going to end up somewhere, and he's going to have a Sam Darnold year like this past year at some point. Because don't sit there and tell me you knew Sam Darnold could do that. You thought he was a backup quarterback, just like everyone else did.
well, he already has a home. He's from Minnesota. So,
I know.
speaking of your Sam Darnold comparison, he's going to have a chance to quarterback the exact same team that Darnold had the keys to. Huh?
They're going to go with J.J. McCarthy.
We're going to have to see.
I think they're going to.
Oh, wait! I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. Daniel Jones went to the Colts. I forgot about that.
Okay. Well, the Colts, he might have a chance to start. The problem is they suck.
So here we go with the saying that the Daniel Jones is going to be that comeback kid that you were just pointing to, like Sam Darnold did. But you're saying here we go on a team that he's going to end up in the same situation. So I don't personally. I've watched Daniel Jones. And obviously, being a Cowboys fan, looking at the NFC East teams a lot, playing them twice a year. I just think Jones doesn't have the sixth sense that quarterbacks need to have of when someone's coming off their blind side. Not to play off the movie or whatever, but he just doesn't seem to have the wherewithal to get out of situations that he should be able to get out of. Now, when he was a little bit younger, when he first got the starting job at the Giants, I think he was a little bit better at it. But I think as things went on,
he never had anyone walking.
He just, I don't know how to describe it. But I guess I would use the word resiliency during the game. After he gets sacked a couple of times, it's like he's got this attitude, whatever, I'm going to get sacked anyway, so I'm just going to sit back and look for the open guy. So I don't agree with your take on that he's going to be something special or he's going to be a comeback player somewhere if he ever gets a team around him. But I just don't think he has it in him.
I think he's played for the New York sucky ass football Giants for 4 years. Okay. They didn't support, even the owner said we didn't do right by this kid. So that tells me that the owner believed in him, but the GM and the team they put together wasn't there to make him successful. So I think he has the talent, just like the Jets didn't do for Darnold, just like the Browns didn't do for Baker Mayfield, or the Panthers for both those guys. So ultimately, I think he has the talent to do it. I'm not saying he will do it, but I think he can do it. I think he's in that mold. And I'm going to get to the Biscuit Buddy. Biscuit Buddy, welcome back. We missed you the last week or so. May have been a couple weeks since we've seen you. But he says the pay should be earned. The contract should have clauses for better or worse play. I'm assuming you're talking pro and possibly college. I don't disagree with that assessment. If you're getting paid $20 million a year or whatever to be 1,000-yard running back with 12 touchdowns, and you have, not including injury, but then I think you have, if you know you're going to get there, you might have players nursing injuries so they don't get their money lost. I think there could be some interesting things there that you could go down a rabbit hole. But I think as organization you got to be careful who you pay and what stage of the career you pay them. You know, obviously quarterbacks play a lot longer at a higher level than running backs and linebackers and some of these other positions. So, and same thing in any other sport as well. So you got to be careful paying for past performance before other than potential performance. All right, you have some interesting takes on the Dallas Cowboys since we skew towards the market up north. What you said, they got more to deal with than Micah Parsons? What else do they got to deal with?
Well, they have some serious contracts coming up. And to me, and why do I say serious? And why am I being so serious? Is because if they have any hope of not being below 500 next year, they need to sign these other three guys besides Micah. They need to sign Micah, but Tyler Smith is up, who needs a contract. Bland, to shore up that secondary, needs a contract. And Fergalicious, Mr. Ferguson, the tight end, needs a contract. So to me, those might not be the same level or notoriety as Micah. But when you talk about importance to the team, you're talking offensive line, which is suspect already. We just had Zach Martin retire, which I think he kind of did on the field a couple of years ago. Bland, who is supposed to be that complement to Diggs, which is another one we haven't talked about. Stephon Diggs has visited with the Patriots today. And then Ferguson at the tight end position. Extremely important because I think he is their number one tight end. He's proven it. He has a tenacity that he brings to the field that they need on offense, that they really, quite frankly, don't have in anybody except maybe CeeDee Lamb on the offense. So to me, if they mess up any one of those, it puts a serious dent in what they got to do in the draft and how it can affect. Say they do draft Genty and bring him in. You lose Tyler Smith, or you don't get Tyler Smith happy. A running back can't run against with a line that can't block. Obviously, we've seen that. We saw that with what happened with Barkley with the Giants for so many years, and now he's got an offensive line in front of him in the Eagles and goes and wins a Super Bowl, sets a record as far as yards go, almost breaks the ultimate record, season record in rushing. So the Cowboys need to get these things taken care of. And the bottom line is, and I think I saw this, Stephen A. Smith said this, don't always agree with his takes, but he's right on this. They need to stop waiting around. Stop waiting around because you cost yourself more money. We've already seen it. It's happening with Parsons. the price tag is going to continue to rise. Now, and this is what really gets me about that whole front office with the Cowboys is that you're supposedly very smart business people. Jerry Jones is supposedly very well, not supposedly. The man's earned billions. So, and he's got a team worth billions. I get all that. But where do your business decision making skills become so damn eroded that you can't see something right in front of your effing face? That if we continue to go down this road and not negotiate, not work on this thing, the price is going to go up. And just like we were talking about before, the prices now are ridiculous what they're making. We're talking 160, 200 million. That's not chump change anymore. That can take up in some cases, it can take up a third of your football team's salary and salary cap. So to me, waiting on this crap, and that's why everybody says, why do the Cowboys just wait around, cost themselves more money, and then they don't get players, or they get players nobody else wants, which is kind of what free agency's been so far. It's just, it's the star is tarnished, and it's been tarnished for a long time. And the business making decisions that are going on there, go hire somebody who knows how to run the damn cap, because obviously Steven doesn't.
Yeah, I think the names you
it's
brought up in the positions, I think here's the issue that they're going to have is, unless they start clearing cap space, if you're going to re-sign, and I don't think Jake Ferguson gets the highest tight end contract annual percentage, but the highest right now is $17 million. Travis Kelce. Obviously, Ferguson is not Travis Kelce, so you're probably looking at $10 to $12 million right there. All right, you look at offensive guard. Trey Smith is one of the best guards in the league. Okay, right now the top guard is paid $23 million, so it's going to be north of that. So you're already looking at almost $40 million right there. Then you got $40 million just for Micah. Then your cornerback, DaRon Bland, last time he played a full season, led the league in touchdown returns and was an all-pro. That's over $25 million with J.C. Horn right now. So you're looking at almost $70 million for those four players. So I don't know. You may have to sacrifice somebody. Or maybe two of them. I don't know who you'd want to sacrifice. I think you'd probably sacrifice Jake Ferguson, and probably in this realm, probably DaRon Bland is probably the route you would go. And some of that will tell us what they do in the draft, honestly. But the amount of money that is being paid and that you have to commit to keep these top-level guys, yeah, you're right. It's not a chunk of change, and it is a heavy decision that they got to make as an organization. Now, they traditionally do keep on to their own players, but as you made the point, they always wait too long and cost themselves more money, and then you can't keep your glue guys that are really good but not the top tier, like Jordan Lewis, who was one of the best nickel corners in the NFL last year and has been really good for the program. Homegrown guy, drafted by them, has been with the organization until this offseason. And then you get to your point where, we don't want to spend money, and as you made the point, your basement bargain, you know what I'm trying to say. You're getting free agents at the bottom of the bargain.
Bates a bargain.
Yeah.
You got to quit drinking during the show.
I did see, actually, it's just Crystal Light tonight. No whiskey tonight.
Sure.
Seriously,
Actually, you probably need to drink whiskey. You talk better when you drink whiskey, so
probably.
But no, it's just
right.
astounding to me. It really is.
But I heard that I think the guys on last night's show talked about it on the original Tired Sports with Derek and Dustin. Cowboys rumors might their names being linked to Tyreek Hill.
Every year we get linked to some good player, and every year that link breaks. Like the weakest link in the chain, it breaks. And then we go, ooh, the good player over here. No, let's take the mediocre player that nobody else wants, and we'll make them part of our system, and we'll win 10 games, maybe.
Well,
I mean, nobody is excited about. I don't know any Cowboy fans that are excited about this year. I see a lot of people they'll try, and this is where I said, Cowboy fans, don't buy into the bullshit of they're going to get this player. There's groups on Facebook that'll put, oh, it's been reported that the Cowboys are talking to. Bullshit, they're not. They are not talking to. They make these stories, and I'm a firm believer that the Cowboys put a lot of these conspiracy stories out there to keep people freaking interested. It's part of their marketing plan. But you see it on Facebook. Ooh, the Cowboys are talking to Stephon Diggs. No, they're not. He ain't even been around. He may have called his brother to say, hey, how's my little nephew doing, and how's everybody doing? Oh, the Cowboys were talking to Stephon Diggs. No, he wasn't. He's talking to his damn brother. So it's just getting ridiculous, man. Don't buy into that crap. You people who post it on Facebook, get it off Facebook because you're lying.
I feel like you're following those gaslighting Cowboys groups that just put shit out there for people to just comment. Like I've seen some advertisements like for the LeBron and Jordan ones, and they'll just post asinine stuff just to get clicks. And
you know who does it too? And I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out, Jason Tuck. You do it too. Tuck, who used to play for the Cowboys, you'll bring up these things about certain players they're going to be talking to or whatever. No,
Tuck never
they're
played
not
for the Cowboys.
Who
for the
was?
Giants.
Maybe I got the name. Maybe I got the name wrong. Tucker, is that it?
Tuck played for the Giants for a little while.
No. I'll find it.
Well, while you're finding it, let's hear a word from our sponsor, EasyLeadership.com. Here we go.
Ever wonder what truly drives you or your team to greatness? Unlock the keys to better communication and higher productivity with the Berkman Personality Assessment. Discover your interests, needs, and stress behaviors, powered by science tailored by Easy Leadership. Our experts transform complex insights into simple, actionable strategies for your personal and professional growth. Empower your team, elevate your leadership, and deepen your understanding with Easy Leadership by your side. Ready to thrive? Why not use real data when it comes to making your business strategy work? People data is just as important to strategy as financial data. To make any objective attainable, it requires people for the execution. Start your journey to self-awareness and transformation today with Easy Leadership. Check out our website at easeleadership.com.
All right. By the way, your AI stuff is getting out of control over there. I saw your little post of your video advertising Easy Leadership with a blonde with big honkers and a red tank top. I was like, she is not employed by Easy Leadership. That is AI.
She is too.
What's her first and last name? Exactly. Exactly.
It's Jason Tuck, man.
Yeah, he played for the Giants, not the Cowboys.
I think you're wrong, my friend. He also played for the Cowboys. He was number. Crap, I can't remember his number.
Look, listen. It's irrelevant. You called him out. Former NFL player.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. He has a tendency to do this. Not so much, and Tuck, I'm not saying you do it like some of the other people do, but he does bring up, I think he's very optimistic and his wanting them to talk to certain people. And he's very good. I'd love to have him on the show and talk about the Cowboys if he ever listened to us. But my rant's more about the stories that I see on Facebook that are these, like you said, gaslighting us on, ooh, the Cowboys are talking to Stephon Diggs. No, they're not. The Cowboys they're bringing in the best player in the NFL to talk to. No, they're not. No, they're not. So, but speaking about the NFL, now that we beat the Cowboys up, how about Aaron Rodgers talking to Pittsburgh? Now, nothing's been signed, nothing's been said, but what are your thoughts on if Aaron Rodgers went to Pittsburgh?
Once Minnesota moved on, I would have liked the Minnesota situation better than Pittsburgh if I was Aaron Rodgers. But out of all the options you had, I thought Pittsburgh. We kind of touched on this I think before. Is I like Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh for the simple fact of you're throwing to George Pickens and DK Metcalf. Like, holy crap. I mean, that's the best tandem he would ever have. Now, obviously, this is not the Aaron Rodgers, the MVP Aaron Rodgers, older Aaron Rodgers, not playing at that level. But if you look at the last 8 to 9 games of the Jets season last year, he played pretty good football. And if he can play that football with these guys, they got to find a running back somewhere. Obviously, Najee Harris left. They'll possibly look in the draft day 2 for them. I really think it could be a good fit. They obviously don't necessarily want Russell Wilson back, or they would have already re-signed him. They're not convinced Mason Rudolph's the guy, and they're not drafting high enough to take a quarterback in the top of the draft. So I think Aaron Rodgers is a good fit for a year, and I think he goes to a team where he's not the guy. Like when he was in Green Bay, it was his team, his culture, his leadership. When he got to the Jets, it immediately became his team. He comes to Pittsburgh, that's TJ Watt's team. That's Cam Hayward's team. That's, the other people on that team are the team leaders. And Aaron Rodgers can not worry about that stuff and just play. And that may be a great thing for him. I think they need a little bit more offensive line help. They got to find a running game. But Aaron Rodgers throwing to those 2 wide receivers, I like it.
Well, yeah, I mean, any quarterback's going to want great receivers to throw to. Do I think Aaron Rodgers fits the mold in Pittsburgh? Quite possibly now he does. They are not the Pittsburgh Steelers of old that was known for running the game and really getting your face.
Hold on. Darkness retreat.
What?
Okay, I'm back. That was my Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know, folks. I apologize. I have no idea what he just did.
You don't remember when he went on the darkness retreat a couple of years ago?
I don't know. Oh, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers?
Yes.
Okay, I see where you're going with that. Sorry, you didn't hook that. You didn't get the hook in as good as it was, but yes. So yeah, I don't know if he fits the mold in Pittsburgh, but we'll have to see. Personally, I think Aaron Rodgers is past the point to where he needs. I get it. A lot of these guys who are older saw what Tom Brady did, but that was Tom Brady. The man never wasn't thinking about football, and just if you watch any of his talks and anything, it was always about making himself better, and that never ever stopped until he kind of walked away from the game, and he still hasn't really necessarily walked away. I think he's he's a really good announcer. That's another debate we could have. Is he better than Romo? Personally, I think he is. Um, but
We'll
when
leave
it comes
that for
to
next
the
year.
announcer side, quarterback side, that's another. Obviously, it's Brady.
What?
But so
All right. Yeah.
so yeah, I think it could be very interesting to see what Aaron Rodgers could do with that type of receivers, those type of receivers. Um, I think the team to me that's going to be the team to watch this next year is going to be the Raiders. I think with Geno Smith teaming up with his old head coach, I think it's just that's going to be a team to watch. Mark my words. Mark it down on your little notepad there.
No, it's not on the rundown. What are we doing?
I know that.
We didn't talk
That's
about
because
Vegas.
I'm just telling you.
We didn't say
You
check
know.
out our surprise teams.
We did too talk about Vegas. We talked about gambling. So you can't not talk about gambling, not talk about Vegas. So I'm just bringing up the team there.
We can
So
save
there you
our wait for that after the draft. Surprise teams, dark horse in the next. That's a whole show. All right, save that for later. You may not feel the same in a month after the draft.
Speaking of, because we're going to get to your trip, but I don't want to get too far into the show without mentioning George Foreman passed away this week. A lot of folks who are younger only know kind of George Foreman from the George Foreman Grill, which is a multi-million-dollar business that he made.
My mom just bought another one, by the way.
Yeah, I mean it was a great product. But George Foreman to me was someone that you could really get behind in his second career. In his first career as a boxer, when he got beat by Ali, and I really encourage people. I don't get paid to say this, but go see Big George Foreman the movie. If you have not seen it, rent it. I mean, obviously, you can probably watch it free on services you have now, but it's really a cool story about his life and just the fact that he gave up all that he had. He was known as bad boy of boxing. You know, he really was. A lot of people when he was younger did not like him, including Ali. Him and Ali did not were not good friends. They hated each other. And then that morphed into an actual really great friendship between the two. Because when
is this all in the movie?
He was thinking about giving up boxing to become a preacher, which he did for a long time. He gave up everything.
Hey, is this all in the movie?
Yes.
Then stop spoiling the movie.
Well, I'm talking about his life, not just the movie, because the movie is his life. He was just a big teddy bear in his later life, and he was the closest I ever got to George Foreman. I sat on a plane with him. That was about it. I didn't get to talk to him, but he was on a plane that I was on one time, and he was a big man, obviously. But take a look at the movie. Condolences to his family. But he left a legacy of not just naming all his kids George, but his life story is something, because he basically gave it all up, gave up a career to pursue preaching, was in dire straits because of some shady stuff someone he trusted did, that he went back into boxing, and he won the heavyweight championship at 45 years old, which is amazing in itself. Yeah. And he did it not because he thought he could do it. He did it because he needed to do it. He was in dire straits, and he told his wife, "That's the only thing I know how to do really well, and that is box." And that's what he did. So condolences to him, one of the icons of boxing and U.S. sports, George Foreman, the late George Foreman.
You could have done that all in 30 seconds, by the way. George, yes, condolences to the family. Obviously, a greatness legend lost. He is in our Greatness Hall of Fame. I just created it. He is the initial member. Died while we're on air or while we're doing our show. So, in this last year. So, George Foreman, initial member of the Greatness Hall of Fame. I vote yes. I'm assuming you're voting yes. So, he is in. Go there. All right. Yeah, let's get into my illustrious trip up north to the land known as Dallas, Texas, where you are from. Very familiar with the area. I grew up on the better side of town in Fort Worth, but that's not what we're talking about here. All right, that's not a debate. Don't even start it. We're not getting into that. The first thing with the trip, okay? I know it was windy down here last Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay. It was on another level.
Are you trying to make a pun? It was Wednesday on Wednesday. Are you trying to make a
do
pun?
it without even have to explain it to you. If you don't have to explain it to the people, like I'm on so many levels you can't understand. So, anyways, very windy. Like it, I was chasing my sunglasses across the parking lot, and it was warm down here. And we drive the 3.5 hours, 4 hours north up to Dallas. We were actually staying in Frisco, the Frisco area, and man, it got cold quickly, and none of us were prepared. And so the wind was insane. I've never seen it that crazy. And the day I leave, and tell me if this hasn't happened to you, the day I leave, my AC stops working. So I'm getting ready in the morning. You know shit always goes awry when you got to go somewhere, right? So the AC stops working. And then I get a message from Linda saying there's wildfires in Montgomery County. So anyone affected by that, prayers and thoughts with you as well. But like, it's just ironic how life does that to people. Where you're leaving or you got to be somewhere, you always hit the late car or the slow car in traffic. Like life has a funny way. I'm leaving out of town for the first time in months, and my AC goes out, and now I don't know if wildfires are coming to burn my house down. Like, it didn't get over in this area at all. But want to talk about a couple places we went and some couple interactions of players. Now, you've heard of COSM, right? Which you learned about it about 10 minutes before the show when I told you about it. But if you haven't seen COSM, man, it is an experience. This is where it's a 180-degree screen, 3 stories high. You pay for a ticket depending on where you're sitting. It can be between 40 and 60 bucks. And I'm telling you, it is like you're at the game. It is better than the game. You are courtside, and it's better than courtside. It is crazy. COSM, please sponsor us because I would love for you guys to be a sponsor. But the experience there is incredible. You walk in, it's nothing. It's 3 stories of televisions to your left. You got escalators to go up to the next 2 levels. And I'm telling you, I sent you the video. You said it was blurry, so it shouldn't have been because everyone else I sent it to was clear as day. Apparently, your phone is wonky. But I sent it to Linda, and I was like, "Tell me I'm not in Indiana courtside right now." And she's like, "Damn, I thought you were at the game." Like, and everyone I showed today, it was crazy. So, COSM, go check it out if you're in Dallas. There's only 2 locations in the States right now, Los Angeles, Dallas, and you have, I think they're opening a Miami and New York locations eventually as well. So that COSM, like look it up on Twitter, look it up on YouTube. I thought it was kind of like a kind of a hoaxy thing. Nah, it's legit. And I got to build one in my garage because I can't watch sports the same ever again. Like, it was a truly immersive experience. Awesome there. Uh, you ever had a bad
Very
roommate on a trip?
A bad what?
Like a bad roommate, or you were on many a Navy
A
ships?
bad travel partner?
Yeah, like that you're staying with in a room.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the worst thing?
Oof. Eats all your snacks.
I figured you would say something like that. For me, it's having to deal with the dude snoring.
Oh. You
Like, I'm
snore.
trying, here at the house, one of us who live in this house may or may not snore. Um, so I can just put the TV on louder to drown that out, or put on some like ocean waves or something on our YouTube app on the TV, and we both are soundly asleep. I can't do that because this dude needs it all quiet to fall asleep, and it's all quiet, and he's just over here. And I'm like, dude, man, come on. You got to be better than that. So that crap sucks.
So Linda's probably saying, now you know what I go through.
I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it's her. I'm just saying it's one of us.
It's you.
Just saying it's one
I
of us.
already know. It's you.
You'd be surprised. And then this dude on the trip, he was wearing. Is this a fashion thing with young folks, like young college students, where everything is too small? Like, his sweatshirt didn't fit him. His jeans were this far above his shoe, like not the little ankle fashionable crap, but no, it was a gap. And I'm like, dude, why are you wearing your little brother's clothes? Like, we're meeting professionals in the industry, and you're over here wearing a hat, a vintage sweatshirt that's 3 sizes too small, and jeans that don't touch your shoes.
How old is this dude?
He's a master's student, so he's at least 22, 23 years old.
Oh, so he's 23. Well, there you go. Unfortunately, this generation's been brought up to wear girly clothes. So
I was all like, look, man, you got to buy something new. Like, the first day, like I ironed my pants and my shirt, and because we're meeting big wigs in the sports industry, and you want to make an impression, and you're over here wearing a hat like this and clothes that are 2 sizes, not even nice clothes. Like, maybe if it was a suit, could have got away with it, but you're over here with a raggedy ass sweatshirt top and jeans that could have fit my little brother when he was 4. I'm just like, have some sense about you, man. And then
well, I hope you didn't promote your show to this person because they could possibly be watching.
Yeah, well, I didn't say his name, so it is what it is. Then this girl, what's the point of going to meetings, like in hearing people speak in a small setting? Don't you think you should ask some questions at some point, or say something at all?
Well, yeah, unless they tell you can't.
No, this was a full form question and answer. There's a girl came on this trip. 14 hours we were in meetings on Thursday at the American Airlines Center. All right. She didn't say a word. Didn't ask one question. I'm like, why are you here? Like, did you just take it as a vacation? Did you just want to not go to class these few days?
So is this whole description of your trip just going to be ranting about people wearing too small clothes, snoring, and not saying anything? Or is there going to be something exciting?
This is the first part. We got more viewers than we did 3 minutes ago, so it's obviously working. All right. So, anyways, roommate issues.
Next time, if you're going to complain about the dude, what he's wearing so we can have an opinion, you're going to have to take a picture.
Well, next time I'll do that. But have you been to a Stars game?
Not in a while.
Have you been to a Stars game in the American Airlines Center?
Yes.
Okay. So you know the gist. So we're obviously at the American Airlines Center. We get tickets to the Stars game, uh, and all the instructors are like, "Yeah, we'll talk tonight. You know, if you're there tonight." And we're like, "That ain't happening. You're up in the suite with the professors. We're in nosebleed in section 316, row J. You're not going to be up there, buddy." But I appreciate your time and your enthusiasm wanting to talk to me, but I'll be with the peons in the crowd. But something I did not realize at a Stars game was how freaking cold it gets. So if you were
It's
cold,
hockey.
I know it's
If
hot.
you didn't know, they play on ice.
Yes,
with
I know
skates
that.
And sticks and pucks.
Yes, I know all that. Thank you for your brilliant hockey analysis. But when we go Corpus Christi Rays game, it wasn't that cold. But this place was
So that's
freezing.
Corpus Christi.
Well, it's a smaller arena. You still got ice. Like, you still got to keep it a certain temperature. But we're up in nosebleed. So I was thinking, all right, nosebleed, heat rises, not going to need anything. I have pants and long sleeves on. I am freezing. Absolutely freezing. Matter of fact, I should have brought the sweatshirt in here. I went to buy. Which that brings me to my next thing. Prices were insane. Inflation hit hard. The cheapest hoodie was $104. So luckily I bought a pullover with a military discount for $54. So I was deciding between that and a fleece. And the fleece looked a lot warmer, but it didn't look $25 more warmer. I'll tell you that much. But like I wanted to get a popcorn.
Anything exciting or not complaining happened during this.
Listen, this is the story of my trip. You take a trip with your master's program.
I'm very sad about your trip because you had a terrible travel partner who doesn't know how to dress, who snores. You had a lady who didn't ask any questions during the whole thing, and you went to a Stars game, but you were in the nosebleed section, could barely see, and you were freezing the whole time and couldn't afford a sweatshirt because it was too expensive. So I'm very sad. I need a pickup part of the story.
I will tell you, I found a nice pullover that was warm, that kept me warm for $54. I already mentioned that. But I get back to my seat, and why do all the dudes who want to complain about shit in sports always sit behind you and are little minion-looking MFers? They were all 5'5", not an athletic bone in their body, and they're sitting there yelling at the start, "Get the puck. Oh, that's a bad move. Why'd you make that line change?" Shut up, you NHL 94 hockey player of the year or whatever you are. Like, you've never played hockey. You don't know anything about real hockey. You're back there complaining about everything they're doing. Shut your face. It's worse than your first down guy at the Texans game. Okay? Because I got to hear 4 of them narrate behind me of, just asinine crap.
So I'm still sad because it's been the terrible travel companion, the lady who doesn't say anything, freezing, and now people complaining. Little midgets behind you complaining.
I didn't call them midgets.
Maybe they didn't have any place else to go because they were the dwarves in this new Snow White movie that just bombed at the thing. So maybe they needed to go, and maybe they were sitting there like he's playing on ice with sticks and pucks. And
no, it wasn't that analysis. That one I could have laughed at. No, it was get the puck. It's when you hear parents in the stands. Go get the rebound. Go play hard. Don't throw that pat. Like, shut up and quit trying to coach from the stands. If you want to be a coach, go be a coach.
Most people don't understand how hard hockey actually is and why they have so many line changes. Because your little brother obviously used to play, and I used to do the same thing, yelling at him. Used to yell at him. Skate! Why don't you skate? Hurry up! Hurry! And then I tried adult hockey, I was a football player when I'd never been on the ice, got in there and got out there, and good gracious, it was the hardest thing I've ever attempted in sport. So I told your little brother, I said, I will never, ever yell at you about skating faster again because that is the hardest crap I have ever done in my life.
Well,
I took out some poor, it's the adult league with people picking up, and I couldn't stop. It's kind of a requirement in when you're ice skating to be able to stop. Well, I used the walls to stop. And unfortunately, some little like 18-year-old girl was out there running, going with the puck. And she got in front of me when I was at full speed, and I took her right into the net. I scored because I took her with the puck and pretty much us, the goalie, everybody into the net.
so
But
you
the
beat
puck
up
got
on
there
a
before
woman.
I did, so it wasn't a penalty. So
You beat up on a woman to score a goal.
I crashed like a out of control car with no brakes. Well, I should say an out of control SUV, which is more like me. She was more like a little AMC Pacer or something like that. And then the
No brakes.
goalie, which was a stop trash truck right there at the end, took them all out.
Anyways, yeah, it's just hilarious that you mentioned that you didn't understand until you did it. These four minions behind me don't have a clue. Just like most people who never played basketball don't have a clue when I hear them in the stands. Shh, enjoy the game. You can say, why'd you do that? Or come on, guys, or let's do better, or, a little more positive stuff. And thank God I didn't have a kid because they're dropping F bomb after F bomb. I would have turned around and punched one of them. I didn't have to aim very high, even though they're in the row behind me, above me. I would have still hit them in the face. But it's one of those things, man. So be mindful of how you act at a game. Put that on my sports pet peeves. Don't be talking shit in the stands.
No
You
midgets
don't know
talking
crap.
behind people.
It's almost every single person. But the last one I want to talk about, the Soccer Hall of Fame and FC Dallas. Most people don't know the Soccer Hall of Fame is in Frisco, Texas now. It was a really cool experience. We got to meet with the leadership at FC Dallas. Gorgeous Toyota Stadium there. I don't think you've ever been there. It was my first time there as well. They're actually doing a $80 million renovation on the east side of it to make it even better, where FC Dallas plays. A lot of Frisco ISD soccer games and high school football games are played there as well. But the FC Dallas experience was awesome. Little tip for people going on these type of trips, no matter if you're in school or whatnot, sit in the front row, make an impression. Every place we went on this trip, I was in the front row. And every time I asked a question, I made a personal connection with someone. Like we talked to the leader of the Dallas Sports Commission, who was responsible for getting the World Cup to Dallas. Right, we have 9 matches in the next World Cup in 2026 in the Dallas Fort Worth area, and this woman led it, and she's like a sports legend in the Dallas Fort Worth area. She's from Caldwell, so I used to be the head basketball coach at Caldwell, right? Small world. So, I led my question with, hey, Miss, first, appreciate your time. I bet you and me are the only ones who know where to get the good tacos in Caldwell, Texas. And, make that personal connection, sit in the front row and, and even if you're in a conference room or in a training, wherever it is, always sit where you can make an impression on the people in front or the instructor. I had very, very nice lady, very famous in the sports world, that works for FC Dallas. I won't throw her name out there, but she came up to me after it was all over and was like, "Hey, thank you for sitting in the front row. Thank you for having engaging questions." And I just looked back at her and I said, "Remember that when you see my resume." So, why are you looking at me like that? Why are you shaking your head? You
You
taught
always
your
have
son
another
right to make
agenda.
a proper positive impression, and he does that, and you shake your head.
I was expecting something cool from the story. I got travel partner. I got the girl who doesn't talk. I got the freezing while I'm watching the game. I got the sports complaining midgets behind you, and then I got lectured on what to do if I go to one of these meetings. Where's my excitement?
Hey,
Where's the
I
story?
didn't.
Like, man, I was right behind the glass, and the puck came over, and I caught the puck, and it hit me
No,
in the head.
I was up there. That couldn't happen. I was not with the cool people. I was in the nosebleed
This
with
was
the
a
minions.
sad story of a trip.
Okay, I was up there with the minions, and then two people right behind us in our group who go to Texas A&M didn't stand up for the anthem. I was like, why do you go to Texas A&M? Don't you know our value system at Texas A&M? Stand your ass up for the national anthem, please. But no,
Oh,
they
I
just,
would have said something,
well,
especially if
I
you're
didn't
in my
know
school.
until after. Like I was actually standing up, paying attention, singing the anthem with my hand over my heart with my hat. And like one of the girls told me after, it was like, hey, two of them didn't stand, and she knew I was, we actually rode up there together with our department chair, and so she knew I was in the military and all those things, and she's like, yeah, I didn't want you to see him because I feel like you would have done something, and I was all like, dang, you know me for 4 hours and you already know I would have done something, so yeah, actually know me for a day, uh, but that connection we made right there, I can't guarantee anything. I can't make it official, but I do want to preface this is we may have our first, what I consider big time insider on the show after the NFL draft. A scout for an NFL team might be coming on the show. I had a great talk with him. He didn't want to put his name out there right now, and he also didn't want to come on before the draft because he's obviously has a job to do and didn't want to say anything that he's not supposed to say. So I respect that, and I'm really excited if we can get him on. I feel like we're moving up in the world if we can get someone like that on the show. So very, very excited about that. But
Don't tell them about your trip because it's a sad story.
I bet you his girlfriend had told her about most of the trip, or told him about most of the trip, and it may have been a sad story, but you laughed doing the rundown of my story. Okay, that's the most important thing. I made you laugh. You didn't make me laugh once today. All right, check the tape. It was a terrible show on your end, so we're gonna end it there. Nah, I'm just playing.
Once
Good
again,
show.
negative. You tell me how my feedback is nothing but criticism. You described a terrible travel partner who wears clothes too small, snores, a lady who shows up,
Those were
doesn't
two
say
different people,
anything
so
for
you weren't even
14
paying attention.
hours.
My roommate was not little clothes guy. My roommate, by the way, my roommate disappeared on day 3.
Also, there's two negatives. So you have a guy
Yes.
who's snoring, and then you had to be around some dude who's wearing 4-year-old clothes,
Yes.
and then a girl who doesn't talk for an entire 14-hour trip where they're supposed to ask questions, and then you're freezing at the Stars game in front of some midgets who are complaining that skaters don't change the lines or whatever too fast. And now we can throw in two people who don't stand for the anthem, which if you don't stand for the anthem, if we don't stand together, all of us fall. And secondly, you said my show today sucked. So you are nothing but negative Nelly, sad stories. So, folks, I apologize if you're crying after this show because he has just made us so
we're not
sad.
apologizing if you're crying after the show. That means we made an emotional mark, and you'll be back next week, and you are welcome. All right, you will be welcome for that.
An emotional mark.
Yes.
You know, someone hit you in the head with a baseball bat. That's an emotional mark
No,
too,
that's a
but I don't
physical
want it
mark, you dumb
happening.
If you get hit in the head with a baseball, that's a physical mark, not an emotional mark. we are trying to get in touch with your emotions, but you didn't hear my last one about my actual roommate who snored. Okay. He disappeared on day 3. Like, we were leaving FC Dallas to go eat at Babe's Chicken Dinner House, which great food, by the way. No one knew where he went. Like, he just was gone. And
so now on top of this negative, sad story, we got a missing person.
Yes.
At the end.
Isaac, tell us you're alive, please.
Well, I tell you, Terry Walker is here. What's up from San Angelo?
Terry, if Isaac lives near you and he was on the trip to Dallas with the Texas A&M Masters program, please let us know he's alive.
He was never found.
No, we didn't ever. We were leaving from Babe's Chicken to go back to College Station. Like I said, he was in his own car. So, like, we left the Toyota Stadium and the Soccer Hall of Fame, and then we go to eat, and no one knows where he went.
You know, this could almost be a movie because it's such a sad, bad story of Casey goes to Dallas and people go missing.
His name is Isaac. I don't know his last name. I wouldn't throw his last name out there, but his name is Isaac, Terry. He is Hispanic. He's 5'3", and he's a little pudgy overweight. That's probably why he's snoring a little bit when we're trying to fall asleep.
He's a little pudgy, officer. He's a little pudgy. He's a little pudgy and he snores. That's how I would describe him.
I mean, that is what it is, man. Yeah. Sounds like a great story to me. Oh, man. All right, let's wrap it up. We're over an hour and a half at this point. Good times. The roll sheet is done. I'm going to throw this on the floor. Great content. We obviously coming in next week. We'll have a couple more rounds of the brackets to break down, talk about that. See, Terry said it.
That's what, that would be pudgy. That's pudgy right there. $8
burrito. Oh man.
Yeah.
With a side of nacho cheese or queso and chips there.
Okay, stop before you hurt yourself.
And I wake up every day hurting. So, anyways.
You hurt me with the sad story.
Well,
I was so excited to hear about your trip, and I'm very depressed now.
No, you left out Cosm. Cosm was a positive. The fact that we met with the president of the Stars. And
you went through a Cosm and lost somebody.
I didn't lose them.
Some complaining midgets, some snoring people.
I did not
lost
call them
the snoring guy.
Listen.
Well, you should describe that to the police report. Is that he snores? They might be able to find the burrito pudgy dude snoring in an A&M shirt somewhere.
Hey,
Isaac, man, prayers to you, buddy. I hope they find you.
I hope you're all right, man. Because so what's funny is he was on the trip last year, so we were one of the only few that went on last year's and this year. And I graduated this summer.
Well, obviously, being roommates with you made him leave early or run away scared because you with all these sad stories going on.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. And there was 3 online. Like, I'm an online master's student at A&M, and there's 2. Isaac was another one, and then there was a female. There was a clear divide on this trip as well with the kids that go in person and the online kids. It was like we were automatically segregated apart on this trip as well. So there's another negative you can throw on the list.
So would you say the guy who wore the 4-year-old clothes, he was probably an online person?
No, he wasn't. He was an in-person person.
In-person person?
He was an in-person person. So
well, all right, then.
But yes, all right then. Next week, we got opening day next week. No, it's not. Is it next week? End of next week, right? Yeah, opening day is next week. So we got to have Bruce Bochy. Manager Bruce Bochy is making his debut on the show. That's fake manager BB. Don't think actual Bruce Bochy is going to be on the show, folks. We're not that big time.
Manager B Broachy. We'll call him B Broachy.
Manager B Broachy.
Because you will be Broachy.
It's Bochy. Terry Walker. No, not go Diamondbacks. That is rude enough.
Go Astros.
Show.
Go
That is
Stros.
cuss words on this
Go
show.
Stros.
Terry Walker.
Go Stros.
Anyway,
go Padres.
You don't even have them on your thing there.
I'm doing an all Texas thing. Okay,
You're so
okay.
Can't even see. You just got the kits. You don't even have the Rockets.
I'm gonna start talking about who my new NFL team's gonna be, because
we'll save that for
these guys are about to be done with me.
Yeah, your hand's disappearing into the kits. It's like you're tickling the Rockets' butthole right now. So, anyway, yeah, be true.
I'm not even going to touch that.
Quit. Just own your Cowboy fandom. All right. Folks, we've been at it for a while. We're pushing an hour 40. But this last 15 minutes has been worth the wait. It's been the most fun of the show. So I appreciate y'all.
Hearing your story now, I got to go push a 40.
Man, we can all go have a shot. By the way, hold on. When you were letting my dog out, did you eat all my chocolate truffles?
I didn't even know you had chocolate truffles.
There was a bunch of chocolate truffles on this.
No, but I did. This is totally offline. But I did find a bunch on the floor, which scared me because dogs aren't supposed to eat chocolate. And I was worried he had ate some. I picked them up. There were 3 on the floor. So he obviously found a way to get to them.
Well, they're in the little centerpiece on the dining room table. All right, anyways. But we have anyways, we'll let it go. Also, if you're never mind. We're just gonna let it go. All right, peace. We love y'all. We're out of here.
Take care.